So can't forget little Belle back here. She moved. All right. Yay, Tanya. All right, so I think I'm all good. Welcome to Community Breathing and Tension Release. I'm Michele Moritz, and today, so we're doing sort of like a summertime August dancer style warm up here. It doesn't have to be only for dancers, but because I'm in that mode a little bit more teaching right now, I just thought I would sort of bring that energy into this class. So, I'm not going to give as many modifications, but I think just going along with the flow and feeling your breath and feeling how your body, it connects by expanding and releasing a little bit more might be helpful for some people. So let's come down into the floor. We're going to just take a nice, comfortable seated position here. You can cross your feet. You can come out into sort of a long diamond shape here. Whatever helps you feel more comfortable into your hips and your lower back. So we want to feel that the hip sockets are nice and soft and creased in the front, not a lot of tension in the low back and the tail, and not a lot of tension in the thighs here. So we just want to find the plumb line of our spine. Let's actually take our hands to rest into the crown of the head, not pushing down on your head, but just feeling the weight of your own arms rest into the crown of your head to give you a sense of that plumb line. We want to feel, you can close your eyes a little bit here. We want to feel that plumb line travel down into the base of the spine, the base of the pelvis. We're going to start to find the energy through the tail a little bit more. So as you're finding this plumb line, you might feel that you adjust a little bit in places of the spine, letting your jaw and chin release in and back a little. Feel that the tail of your spine has a long, heavy energy like a dinosaur tail, right? So that tail is nice and long and has some weight to it, and it's going through the floor. So we're feeling that the crown, the whole spine, is sort of, it's plumb lining with gravity as much as possible. And then we want to feel everything else just sort of softly hang and open around that plumb line. And then we're going to release the palms up and out so we feel a sense of lightness through the crown of the head. We're going to take the arms down. Let's take the palms together. Again, you can close your eyes and just let the breath release down into the base of the spine, the base of the pelvis. As we glide the palms and relax through the fingers, we're getting that nice little sense of energetic friction in between our palms, using the breath. So the breath is drawing up into our hands, and get a really good amount of friction going here to really feel the energy between your palms start to come through the surface, feeling that your breath relates into that energy through your palms. So you're going to feel heat, probably. Not that a lot of us need any more heat these days, but that's okay. We're just going to feel the energy between the palms, and then we're going to separate the hands. As we separate the hands, we feel the energy buzzing between our palms. Now from here, think of this like a nice yawning, very open feeling. You don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. We're going to let that energy, we're pushing it and opening out into the space around us. So we want to feel that the energy from inside relates to our outside. And we're just going to yawn and breathe. But now today, let's swirl it around. Let's move the energy with our palms. It's like we're letting the breath come out through the hands into every direction in the space we're in, feeling that we're expanding and we're playing with the energy around us. So we're breathing and moving and shifting, exploring all the space we have to grow into with our bodies, up above, down below, around the sides, behind. So just feeling that you're playing and shifting and moving moving through the space. And then we're going to reach out with the palms. Now we want to gather energy through the hands from the space around. We're going to bring that around us and over the eyes, over the face. So we're sensing the energy over our eyes and face. And then we're going to exhale, just wash it over the face and eyes, releasing, finding a nice sense of calmness flush through the face and eyes. Think of that calmness flushing and opening from the center of your face out, around, and down. Now we're going to skip some of the face stuff I usually do. We're going right up into the top of the spine, finding that little crevice where the bottom of our head and top of our spine meet, the occipital zone there. We're going to take a nice little side-to-side massage and just feel a sense of opening and lengthening into that crevice. We're opening, we're going out along it, maybe a little bit wider out to the sides towards your ears. We're freeing up that space to feel a little bit more length and tallness open up available to us. So we're freeing up as much length we have to play with. And then we're going to come back in close to the spine. Now we're massaging along the muscles down the back of the neck, from the top all the way down. Now I'm taking a deeper kind of circular motion with the palms and just breathing into that, feeling that your neck loosens up. So these are the erector muscles that run all the way down into our tailbone. Breathing and opening that area up to, again, feel nice and open and long. We're coming down into the tops of the shoulders here. Once we get over the tops of the shoulders, take your fingers and sort of dig them into the shoulders. We're going to dig and exhale, sweep over the top, and then just shake off through the palms, letting go. We're going to go back again. Let your breath release. Exhale and let it go. And one more time, going back. Relax the shoulders and sweep and let go, shaking it off. Now we're going to interlace the fingers. We want to feel the breath from down low in the base of the spine, from the dantian. Feel that midline, connective center energy lift you up from inside. So we're going to inhale, lift up through the center, reaching up through the arms. So wherever your arms reach, it's connected from down low. And we're feeling like the external body, the limbs, is sort of just a product of that opening and lengthening. We're going to breathe through that line, that center line, right through the center, and just wiggle it up out of the hips, releasing out of the low back and the tail, getting a nice sense of sort of unplugging the tail end, letting the tail elongate a little bit more, finding a nice little decompression through the bottom of the spine and the hips. And then we'll come back through center. Let your tail soften under as your arms drape down, hanging in front of you. So now we relax through the shoulders. Take this nice little sway a little bit here. You want to make sure that your scapula are relaxing and swaying. Elbows are really wide. We're going to take a nice little sweep around the side and breathe through that elbow that's coming up through the top. So you're making space to open through the ribs. Inhale up. Now I'm not pushing through my palms. I'm widening, breathing through the elbows wide. Because again, up here, we have that gliding of our scapula going over, letting your tail release under to come down. So we're going to inhale. Find your long tail to come up. And exhale over, around and forward. Your tail sweeps under. Find your long tail to breathe up. And exhale, around and forward. And again, long tail, breathing through the side in between the ribs up. And exhale, around and down. And then inhale, finding that long tail to come up. Take a new breath. Little pause up here. Change to the other side. Exhale, forward, around and down. Finding your elbow, breathing through the ribs to come up. And exhale, over, around and forward. Finding that long tail energy to bring you up. And exhale, around and forward. Finding your long tail to bring you up. Now we keep breathing through that long tail, finding the length through the midline up reaching through the palms. We're going to keep that lift, opening in the chest, separating the hands, and just circling through the wrists, through the palms, breathing the palms open as we suspend up internally, lengthening through the midline, and then just letting the arms hang open from that length in the chest and relax. Now, we're going to take the feet out in front. We're going to bring the right foot forward, flexing in parallel. The left foot can hang open with a flexed heel here. Bring your right palm up. Left hand goes behind us, right behind our tailbone. Still breathing through that midline, center line energy, that imaginary line that runs through the center of the body. So we're going to inhale through the midline up. We feel a little bit more opening in the chest. Hang in your shoulder blade. So wherever your arm goes, it's hanging and breathing from the scapula to open through the chest, right? So we give that little push through the back palm to get over the tail, yawning open and releasing. We're going to change. So we're going to inhale, go up and over. I forgot one thing. We're going to roll through the foot, heel, ball of the foot, toes to yawn, release and change. Inhale, up and over, heel, ball of the foot, toes, and change. Inhale, up and yawning through and change. Inhale, up and yawning through and change. And up, finding that little support to get over your tail and find your toes. Now from here, we're going to take both arms up, circling the wrists and the ankles, breathing through the fingertips and toes. We're circling them around and making our way down to hang over the legs, coming all the way forward, eventually just relaxing and hanging over on the floor. So you can separate your feet a little bit if to help your back let go. Let your body hang wherever you hang over, relaxing and breathing, releasing through the weight of your head. Let the jaw and chin go. We're going to exhale through the nose and just take a little drop through the head. Exhale and drop, exhale and drop, exhale and drop. Just letting the head go a little bit more and feeling that nice little flush down into the low back, into the release of the top of the spine through the head and the neck, maybe between the shoulder blades here. And then from here, we're just going to hang, relax through the center, and sway your head from side to side. So we're going to just let the breath release, feel nice and heavy, like a nice old elephant here, breathing and swaying and shifting, letting the head release. You feel a sense of breath through the back ribs, maybe even unsticking those bottom back ribs from the waist area. Now we're going to let this release and expand through the momentum a little bit more. So now we get a nice rocking on our sits bones. We want to again feel that heaviness dropping down and shifting, and dropping down and shifting, dropping down and shift. And then we're going to use a nice little scoop through the belly to lift the hip up and walk backwards. So we're lifting up and walking back through our hips, dragging the legs along the floor. We're getting that nice little shifting through the sacrum, but also connecting through the center, through the abdomen to move through the legs. So we're just sort of peeling and walking. Now we're going to come forward, lifting up and dropping forward. Now our sits bones are a little bit more like feet, where we push down to lift the other side up and over, but still using that breath connection from the low belly to move through the hips along the floor. And then we're just going to hang through the center, relaxing over through the center. Exhale. We find our long tail drawing down, that long dinosaur tail drawing down through the floor to help us roll up. As that tail gets longer and heavier down, we let the breath in from the base of the spine up, in and up through the front, down and out through the back. And as you get almost all the way to the top, that tail is longer and heavier to let the chest and the shoulders and the head come through easily. Finding that and then letting it go. So now from here, we're going to little curl under through the tail, little scoop through the low belly. We're going to take our fists nice and loose and just drum into the sacrum, breathing into the sacrum, into all those bones and cartilage, breathing and kind of loosening things up, releasing any tension or tightness, going into the backs of the hips, the glutes here. So we really want to get around into the back of the hips, breathing through that, shaking things up. And then we're going to work up the sides of the spine, towards the kidneys, towards your ribs, and working back down again. And then from here, we're going to take our fists and just drop into the sides of the hips, sort of around towards the back. So these are our greater trochanters, this lateral place in our hip sockets. And then we're going to change and go a little bit more from the back of the hip. So one palm around the back, and we're flushing and alternating, sending any tension and tightness down and out through the feet, out through the toes, getting a nice sense of release, lengthening, and you can kind of move your hand around where you feel sort of your target point, where you feel like maybe it's a little bit higher you need to drop into, so you're not hitting yourself, you're dropping and breathing through your palm here. And then we're going to open the palms, and now we're using the heels of our hands. Our hands are nice and loose, fluffing up and around the sides of the legs. We're starting up high near the hips, getting a nice scooping, releasing, jiggling of these muscles here. We really want to kind of scoop around and down along that IT band line. So we're letting everything fluff and release. We're coming all the way down almost until our knees. So right above the knees where our quads attach. We're going to go back into our fists, doing the fluffy motion with our fists, going around the tops of the knees, go all the way to the inside and outside, wherever you feel like you need to kind of let go of anything holding on around the joints here. And then we're going to take our fingertips and take these nice little taps right into the kneecap, into the bone, into the patella, feeling a nice vibration into the joint, waking things up from inside neurologically here. And then we're going to tap down the shin bones, feeling that vibration all the way down to our ankles, tapping and breathing into the bones. And then tapping back up the shins again, feeling that the lower legs come alive a little bit more. And now we're taking the heels of our hands and we're going to flush and massage through the quads from the hips all the way down into the knees. We can get a good amount of pressure here. We're going to press down and massage through, pushing down and out. You can go a little bit on into the inside of the leg and a little bit to the outside of the leg. So the quadriceps go all around. Our legs are round. Breathing and really massage into and along your femur bones here, your thigh bones. Now we're going to come down along the outside of the shins. We do our loose, fluffy hand again, going around and fluffing up around the outside of the shins, our peroneals, and just kind of letting things loosen up and breathe a bit here, trying to release any holding tension, to let our knees and ankles align and move a little bit more freely. And from here, we're going to relax and bring the feet back into that nice little comfy diamond. So we're not trying to stretch, we're just relaxing. Use the tops of the hands. And we're going to flush down from the inner thigh, from the hip. We're taking that downward flush motion to release any tension and tightness holding on in the hips, letting it go through to the floor with gravity. Travel down the inside of your thighs, the adductor line, towards your knees in this downward flushing motion, breathing through that. And then from here, we're going to flex through the heels. So we feel the heels flex, gently engaging through the calves, taking our fists, take a deep breath. Let's start small, actually. So we're just going to take little drops with our fists into our calves. And you're just feeling this out here. So sometimes maybe your calves are a little bit sore or tight, and you might want to stay in this smaller range and breathe through it. If you feel more comfortable, you can take a bigger drop with a bigger breath and just exhale, let go. So there's obviously more force behind that drop. And so just feeling out whatever feels best for you. We're going to breathe out and let it go and let it go and release. And now from here, so let's go a little bit lower. We're going back to the small ones again. Focusing on the lower calves into the Achilles area. and just kind of waking things up there, feeling that sense of openness in that part of the leg to release and lengthen. And now from here, let's take our hands behind. We're going to let the legs come out, give a nice little shake out on the floor, lengthening, releasing from the tail. Do a little wiggle with your tail, releasing side to side. We're going to bring the right knee up, take a deep breath in. We're going to start the exhale, start to gather through the low belly. Exhale, release the leg out. Breath comes in, other leg. We start to gather, nice little coiling, gathering through the center, and we let it go. So we feel that connection through the dantian, through the pelvis to let the leg release. So there's a sense of lengthening behind the knee along the floor. We're not pushing the back of the knee into the floor. We feel a sense of length from the tail through the heel. And again, starting the breath. And again. And a breath. And again. A breath here. Now relax. Now we're going to use that coiling breath. We're going to start the exhale and we take a big tap with the inside of the toes, like a nice little explosion. So be careful if you have, some tender spots. We're going to feel that connection. We quickly connect and let go. So it's practicing the release, the quickness, all the way down at the tips of the toes. One more time. And now from here, we're going to bring the feet in and just roll around through the ankles, releasing through the ankles, getting a nice little focus going on into our feet. Relaxing your feet into the floor, relaxing the heels. We're going to massage inside and underneath the ankle bones on the inside of our heels. So we're really trying to get a sense of awareness into the inside ankle and heel. Lots of tendon, ligament, connective tissue going on here. We want to feel energy here so that we don't roll in on the inside of our ankles and our feet, just letting everything kind of wake up and become aware. So even just being aware can help. And now we're going to go underneath the soles of the feet using your thumbs, really mushing and massaging into the arches of your feet from your heels all the way through that arch, underneath into your toes, into your metatarsal, underneath through the balls of the feet here, and just kind of really softening and releasing any tension or tightness, especially if you have higher arches, not feeling you have to hold on in the feet. And then from here, we'll go underneath the balls of the feet. We're going to hold the toes apart like a froggy. We're going to hold spaces in between our toes, breathing into that space, relaxing into the feet, and feeling that openness between our toes with a relaxed foot. Gently releasing the palms. We're going to take the hands back behind us on the floor. Bring your legs together into one piece. Gather the legs into your midline. We're going to scoop and little curl under through the tail. We want to connect, breathe through the midline as we walk through the feet, heels, balls of the feet, toes. We're going to use our toes to pick up some sand, pick it up, flick it out, exhale. We connect and walk. Find your sand, pick it up, flick it away, and exhale. And walk, sand. So you're looking at your toes a little bit. Make sure they're spreading out wide and make sure you can feel a sense of evenness expanding from the center of the foot. Now, when you get too far away, let's reverse it, starting with the toes doming over. You're going to dig into that sand and draw the heel back. Through the midline, we go over, exhale, breathe and drag back. Up and over, and breathe. Feel the arches of your feet melt into the floor. So we want the arches to expand and breathe. So we can feel that connection from the center line. Breathing and walking forward. Find your sand and flick it out. Exhale, squeeze through the midline. Sand and open. And exhale and through. And reach. Now just relax your legs and shake them out. We're going to bring the feet back into whatever comfortable seated position you prefer. Finding a nice lifting up. We're going to take a nice breath massage, expanding the chest. Feel like a balloon here. We're going to inhale, expand up. And exhale, release. Our nice happy hamster. Inhale and up. And exhale, release. Get a nice flush all throughout the abdomen. We're going to come down into the front of the hips and just massage right into the front of the hips, moving this lymph around a little bit here, breathing into it. And then we're going to come up into the center of the chest. A nice little scrubbing exhale, letting go. Just letting go of any tension you feel holding on into your sternum and your chest. And just taking those long strokes down through the center, from the ribs down into your pelvis, and then going up underneath the sides of the ribs, breathing into that space and opening it, flushing through the center, up underneath the other side ribs, feeling a sense of expansion and sort of waking up in there. And then just relaxing the arms, letting them hang. Feel that your scapula are breathing wide and hanging down through into the sits bones. Nice, and that's our plumb line from the scapula through the sits bones. We're going to take the opposite hand and just massage into the front of the shoulder. Relax your head over and just kind of feel it out here. You're, again, moving lots of this lymph around here. Breathing out. You can kind of move the head, unraveling and untangling from the neck a little bit. And then we're going to relax and hang over to the other side. Find a nice massage into the front of the shoulder and just sort of feel out where you need to go. So we're just letting that release come through, getting a nice sort of mushing around here, breathing into it, letting the head go wherever you feel comfortable. It doesn't have to move. Now from here, relaxing the shoulders. We're going to let the breath bounce again through our palms. We're going to exhale, relax the head over, and breathe, dropping over and coming back. So we're going to exhale. And feeling the breath travel through our hand, we're letting that nice bouncy release over the top of the shoulder into the upper back, feeling a sense of awareness into our upper back ribs and our lungs. The breath releases and expands. And also feeling that we're just letting go of any extra holding on tension in the tops of the shoulders. You can sort of use your palm like a nice little trigger point drop release there. And then from here, we're going to relax the arms, let the tail release, gathering the breath internally through that center midline. We're going to inhale, lifting us up. Lifting up off of your tail, we're going to exhale, let the arms go, and feel that suspension up through the crown. Find that softness in the tail. Let the breath gather from inside, feeling your tail go down as you breathe in and up. And we let it go. And softening the tail again. Breath comes in. Long tail goes down to bring you through and up. And we let it go. And now we shake it all out. Releasing through the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists here. Feel that breath release from inside, traveling out through the arms. Again, just like we did with the legs, we want to get a really good shake and release off the bone. And then feeling that we're releasing, especially down through the lower part of our limbs here, through our hands, our wrists, getting a nice little fuzzy feeling, the forearms, all of that phone, iPad, computer work, just kind of shaking off a bit here. And then taking our hands together, we're going to interlace the fingers and just find a nice little compression release, moving and shifting around. You can shear the heels of your hands a little bit forward and back. Breathe through the palms, like little kind of suction cups from your breath. We're initiating from the breath through our body, right? So we're not trying to suction and breathe and suction and breathe. So we want to feel that the breath expresses through our hands. And then relaxing through the wrist, relax the shoulders. We're just going to glide around through the wrist. Again, the breath lets go. We feel the breath release to let the momentum come through. Letting that shifting. And it doesn't matter how fast you go. You're not trying to make it go fast. You just want to feel the release and let the momentum lead. And then we're going to reverse it. We're coming back the other way. Exhale, using the breath to guide this release. And then we're going to come back through center, a little squeeze and peel the fingers apart, opening out, and just feel that, again, that breath from the center of the palm. Inhale and exhale. It's from the center of the hand, expressing through the fingers and drawing in and opening out and drawing in. Inhale to open and exhale. So we have this nice sort of compression release from that sort of nucleus, right, into the palm. Now, we're going to use that same idea from the dantian, from the base of the spine and pelvis, from the center of our body. We're going to let the breath in, expand the body through and up like a balloon. Now we're going to take a long squeezing exhale, initiating through the dantian, squeezing the breath out, squeezing through our distal points, our fingertips, our toes, our eyes. We're compressing and squeezing the breath out through those nerve lines, compressing all the way in and in and in and in and in until you don't have any more breath left. Let the breath expand you open. And again, we're going to exhale, squeeze it out. So this is a wonderful way to get that deeper connection into your center. So you're cleansing and squeezing out anything negative, physical, emotional. You're cleaning it out, making space for new energy to come into your center. And the breath expands you out and open. We're going to do one more, squeezing it out, exhale, gathering, feeling that gathering through the nerve lines, compressing and pushing it out through the center. Expanding open. On this last one, we're going to gather light new energy through the fingertips and toes, using the breath to take that energy into your center, enveloping that new energy, connecting into it. And just letting the breath in, arms come up. We're going to just flick away anything that was holding on. So now from here, we're going to interlace our fingers, take the palms to the back of the head, relaxing through the jaw and chin. Rest your head into your palms here. If you want to gently close your eyes, that's okay. So sometimes we need to sort of close our eyes to feel maybe more of a sensitive connection, right? If it's newer, especially. But then we want to feel related to the outside, so we open our eyes. So there's sort of a stage with that, a process, I should say. So we're feeling that maybe like you're against a wall through the back of your body. Breathe through the back of the body. Let the jaw and chin release. Feel that the breath expanding through the back of the head and neck into your palms. Your hands are just gently guiding that length in through the back of the body and up. Feeling that your tail releases down even longer into the floor. Then we're going to feel that release down, breath through the back, sweep the palms up and open, out, around, and down. So we're just going to hang the arms over the knees. Now I'm not going to go as slow. We're going to do it quicker because, we're focusing on, like for dance, this would relate to spotting. We want to feel that sense of length internally relate us into our spot. So we're going to feel the length inside come out through the eyes. We're going to look over to the right, keeping the length internally around to the left. We're going to exhale to the right and to the left. So you're going to look from side to side, noticing if you start to tense or hold your breath, and just feel that sense of length traveling through the plumb line of your spine. And you're going to spot and spot, getting a little bit quicker, letting the breath release, letting the jaw go, and then just take a nice little exhale. releasing through the crown, and then gently relaxing that back down through center here. So now we're going to come around onto hands and knees, and we're resting onto our knees and finding that alignment in our shoulders, making sure we're not drawing our shoulders up to our ears. So we're going to take the right foot back, tucking your toes under. Find that sense of center midline breath as your tail glides your heel back. You release from the heel to stretch back through the leg and then come back in. Feel the breath through the center, left toes, and exhale, glide away. So we're feeling the connection in through our center to release through the back of the heel, opening through the back of the knee and the front of our hip, but also we feel that we stretch and expand from connection. We still have that connection. Actually, it helps. It helps us draw through and open. It's more balanced. And then changing, tucking the toes under and gliding back and coming in. So now from here, we're gonna lift the heels, tuck the toes under. We're gonna touch our heels together. I have a snoring dog next to me. I don't know if anyone can hear this, but it's kind of funny. So we're gonna push down into the floor, drop your tail over your heels, and just hang your tail back into the floor. Let your knees can separate. Let your arms hang over your knees, dropping your tail. We're gonna bounce the tail down to the floor, to the heels, and let the head drop over, and just breathing into this bounce a little bit. And then, so normally I push and stand us up. Today, we're gonna come back forward and bring our knees down to the floor. We're gonna do something new. We're gonna come back to lie on our backs. Now, we're gonna find a nice froggy position when I go back and lie on my back. So the heels are together, the toes are apart. The feet are not all the way together. It's like we're standing on our feet in first position, right? So we wanna feel, it's that frog position. We're gonna roll back to lie all the way back, opening the palms really wide on the floor. So we're letting, and of course we have the heels together, toes apart. Your heels, your whole foot might not be on the floor, and that's fine. Now also think about the length of your legs. We want long froggy legs. We're gonna bring our feet a little bit further away from the pelvis, so that we feel the breath and expansion through the front of our hips, but also we find that long, prominent tailbone into the floor. So we want to make sure that we're not scooping and tucking under, holding tension, and we're also not splaying and releasing around the back and overarching, letting the ribs splay. So we're not just trying to hold the ribs in together. We want to use that length, that plumb line from the tail through the heels, and let the distance of your feet help you determine the breadth and expansion of your hips, right? We're going to open the palms out to the side on the floor. The palms are pushing down on the floor. It doesn't have to be straight out to the side. It can be a little bit lower, if your shoulder needs that, that's fine. Wherever your arms go, feel that breath connection from the midline out, expressing through the arms. We're also breathing into the floor, so letting the jaw and chin relax. We're going to take a nice exhale, feeling the chest expand and the pelvis expand. As the pelvis expands and the tail lengthens, we want to feel just our back inside heels rotate up to the ceiling and push away a little bit. So we feel like we're turning our heels from underneath the sits bones without anything happening structurally big in the pelvis. We're just activating into that length to help sustain it and support it, and feeling that breath expansion as we do that. We're going to exhale and turn the heels around and up. So you're pivoting sort of on that pinky toe line of your foot, and then just relax. Now from here, we're going to lift your right heel up, rotate it in, cross your heel over to your knee. So now we're in parallel. Take this opposite hand and draw. You're going to hold your thigh close to your knee, draw it across, but you're going to look at your back palm. So we're sort of spiraling here. Find your long tail. Feel that the top of your thighs are crossing to elongate and breathe through the tail end of the spine. Finding that nice long release. Now we have a long peacock tail here. Then we're just going to gently soften. Let your heel roll on your knee to turn out and sweep down on the outside of the heel. Come back into your frog and find your midline. Breathe through that midline. Find your long frog legs. Exhale. Now the left heel is going to float up right through the center. We rotate into parallel. The inside of the heel goes over to the knee. Draw that thigh across and look at your back palm and find your long tail. So the tail end of the spine reaching gives us that sense of expansion through the chest. Feel that the top of the thighs cross to reach your tail. Breathing and opening. If you roll off that back shoulder, that's fine, but feel the breath from the center opening out through the palm. Relaxing out of this, rolling back, let the heel pivot around and gliding down, finding your midline, a nice long exhale. Now we're going to take a deep breath. As we exhale, we're going to take our chin forward. Imagine you're holding a pencil underneath your chin. We're going to exhale, grab that pencil, and keep curling your chin forward. You're going to see your belly. Keep holding your pencil as your tail brings your feet up, palms come forward. You're going to flex, grab the outside of your ankles, bring your knees together and your heels apart. So we're introverted, knees in, heels out. Your heels are near your tail, your sits bones. We're going to be a little turtle. Inhale, pull, widen your elbows, pulling out to the side as you curl and breathe wide into your back on the floor. So we feel the sacrum spread wide from introverting the legs and the hips. We're going to release the tail down, let the feet come down, rolling back down here, opening on our back. So just feeling that your knees drop in and you're rolling on the inside of your feet because your feet are wide out to the side. Don't feel you have to press your knees together. Let them drop and release into that midline. And then from here, we're just going to bring both knees into our chest, nice and even. We're going to flex through the heels, take a nice exhale, and push your feet up to the ceiling. Take a nice big stretch. We're going to reach through the feet. So if you can't stretch your knees all the way, that's okay. Keep them bent, but find the plumb line over your pelvis. We're going to push away and reach from the heels, balls of the feet, toes. And now from here, gently flexing again, draw your feet back if you can. We're going to take our hands to the back of the legs, slide your hands close to your ankles, and find your pencil again. You're going to hold, take your chin, and pull in, holding that pencil as you pull your feet back. So we're releasing through the low back. Exhale. You can bend your knees a little bit here. You can rock through this. So we're going to exhale and release and exhale and release and exhale and release and exhale and release. Now we're going to bring our head down, let the palms open, reaching through the toes, rolling through the feet one more time. We're going to bend both knees. Take a deep breath from the midline. We're going to exhale and curl forward. Reach the arms from the center out. Keeping your curl, exhale through the midline. We find that long tail to reach through the legs. The legs reach to float us up. And then we're just going to find our tail flexing through the heels. Inhale, drawing the tail long, breathing the chest and arms up. And we go over, we're going to do a little wave. We're going to curl and exhale, flush up. And we're going to curl and flush up. So we flex up and we're going to curl over. You can keep your feet in one position or you can move through them. Tail goes under and up. And we curl and up. And now we just open, rotate, turn the feet out, let the palms come back behind. We're going to point through the toes. Take a nice exhale. Fingertips are rotated back. Find that tail energy long through the midline, lifting the chest up over the tail. Round your shoulders back and just look up to the ceiling. Make sure you're not holding tension in your head. Feel like you're smelling a beautiful flower through the nose. We want to extend through the neck, opening here. And then just feeling that release up, floating the arms up. We're going to come around over onto our side, bringing the feet around, going back to our hands and knees. And we're going to take a nice curl here, scooping in and up, finding our nice cat back, rounding, looking into the navel. And you can keep your palms, you can move them a little bit closer, but a little bit further away gives you that distance from your tail. We're going to keep the scoop, lift the heels, tap the toes, lifting our tail up and back over our heels. Now we want a nice flush back and up towards the ceiling. Our heels are probably floated off the floor because you have an angle here. We're going to breathe through the upper back hamstrings, expanding through the sits bones. So we have to find that space through the upper back hamstrings to let the pelvis go. Even just reaching your tail might not be enough. So we want to breathe through the space of the back of the legs. Lift your sits bones with your breath so much that you can walk your hands back all the way to your feet. And we're just going to hang, feel the tail plumb line over your heels. Hang your body forward and hold onto your elbows, releasing through the upper back and neck. Nice long exhale. We're going to feel the breath through the upper abdomen, through the stomach. Lift up to the ceiling as the tail starts to drop down. Let go of your elbows. Keep breathing in and up to revolve through the spine, rolling and lengthening the tail down. So you feel that nice long tail flushing back over the heels. Again, your peacock tail long and down behind you. Now from here, we're just going to take a nice little wave, bending the knees. We're going to curl the tail under. Inhale, feel that push down through the heels to breathe through it up, elongating the tail to breathe through that center. Smell your flowers again, opening the chest out, releasing the arms open. The tail starts to curl under. We're going to push down into the floor to let the breath come in. And finding that openness in the chest, exhale. The knees start to bend, the tail goes under. So we feel this nice connected breath undulation to lengthen and breathe through the spine. Long tail down to go up. One more time, letting the breath in. Find your feet. Feel that the soles of your feet are breathing open into the floor to bring you up. And keep that length and opening and just release your arms open. Feel the energy of your tail gliding long and behind you. Let the breath come in through the shoulders to release. Feel that long trailing tail energy down and out. And just take a few walks here, letting that length of the tail flush through behind you. And just kind of relaxing and coming back into your center here. Okay, so I got a couple of things in there during this time. All right, so we're just going to sort of continue on this way. Next week, I'll be back to my Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern time, and I'll just continue from there. So hopefully I'll see you then next week, 12 p.m. Eastern. I'll send a reminder. And if anybody has any questions or comments, please let me know. Have a wonderful week. Stay cool, everybody, if it's hot where you are. And thank you very much. Bye.